So far, I've been able to successfully defeat 28 bosses in Legends mode in Where Winds Meet, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing how I did that. Now, I'm talking about more so some of the advanced, not much talked about tips and tricks that will be game changers for when you actually start challenging some of these more difficult bosses. I'm not talking about those beginner tips that everyone knows about, like, oh, parry here, make sure you know the boss mechanics, all that fun stuff. If you do want to learn about that stuff, click the link in the top right corner. But what we're doing today is really talking about some of those advanced tips and tricks. I'm talking about a handful of things that you probably are not doing today that could be the game changer on taking down certain bosses you might be stuck on. The first tip, for example, is kind of talking about how you're seeing this green cloud on this Lucky 17 boss throughout the entire fight without me like manually doing something with the Divinecrafts. So with that being said, let's just jump into the first tip, which is talking about how you can automatically equip Divinecrafts without having to worry about swapping between those items and the items themselves. So if you go to Settings, Game, and then scroll down, this Auto Use Divinecraft tool is typically preset on close, but you can enable that. That's going to allow you to increase your overall damage output, especially when it comes to bosses, basically automatically. If you go into your inventory, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about, this middle category, Divinecraft. You can basically use this toxic powder, fire oil, or even some of this water-based aqua wax. All three of these are very, very easy to get, and you probably already have them. Just by setting them to automatically be equipped and used in combat, you can dish off tons of more DPS, but I do recommend that you turn that off after you finish the boss fight, because these will be going down very, very fast, especially if you're kind of going through tons of bosses. If you're low on any of these ingredients, especially this toxic powder, take a look at the link in my description of this video, because you can basically get unlimited toxic powder from a little bit of a cheesy farm at one of the forts. This next tip is about food. Now, when we're talking about food, you probably assume I'm talking about those different types of food that can just restore health over time. However, did you know that there's actually food that can impact your stats, leading to more damage output, especially around bosses? For example, this one right here can directly boost my physical attack. I do want to call out though that only one food effect can be active at a time, and these cannot be active during trials. However, if you're taking down a boss for the first time, you can use this food to just make the fight itself easier. If you go to the cooking tab through the crafting menu, you can see all the different options you have of different foods. Some of them will increase your max HP, just boosting your survivability. Some of them will just restore a ton of health instantly. Again, we kind of spoke about that one. That's kind of like the generic one that most people know about. Some of them require only like level 20. A lot of them require level 61. And there's just a huge range of different types of recipes and foods you can craft in this game that a lot of people just are not using today. So for example, I'm in the second region right now, and I am over at the 13 chambers, and I'm going to be talking to this guy over here who actually sells 3 different recipes. This game is very intuitive, where you can kind of just click on the recipe you want and it will show you how you can actually obtain it. So I picked up these 2 recipes. I'm just going to go ahead and learn them real quick and reopen my crafting menu. And I have 2 new items here, right? So I can craft this steamed egg custard or this venison right here, which actually will have a direct impact on my physical attack. I can start using this today too, because it only requires level 20. So I'll go ahead and craft a few of these. And again, these are game changing, right? It's free stats. It'll let you hit harder and it will help you get across certain bosses you may be stuck on a little bit easier. A quick helpful tip too, in case you are trying to max out all of the recipes you have in this game, whenever you come across a fisherman, be sure to challenge them in this little fishing minigame, because there's a small chance that some of them will actually reward you with more than just the typical rewards, such as a recipe. So this one actually gave me a mushroom steamed fish recipe, so I'll finish this dialogue and jump back into my inventory and open the crafting menu. And if we go under cook, we can see that this new recipe This one right here gives me 22.5k health, which is helpful. I mean, it's not a stat specific boosting one, but again, if you want recipes, this is the way. A friendly reminder too, if you've made it this far in the video and have already learned something, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It really does help me out and tells me it's worth continuing making videos around this game. Okay, let's jump back into things. Next up, I wanted to call out the importance of understanding the crowd control options your weapons offer. Now, personally, I use a bamboo cut DPS build, so I use the Infernal Twin Blades, and then also the Mortal Rope Dart. And I love this ability right here because it basically allows me to knock down a boss, essentially crowd control it, if I use this ability twice within a certain amount of time. This is very important because I can essentially break a combo the boss is trying to land on me, or set myself up for massive damage once I hit that exhausted state for the boss. The best way to show how exactly this works is to show it in a real world example. So I landed the first hit there. Once I hit this one, there you go, he's down to the ground, and I can just dish off more damage as he's getting up. This is probably one of the most useful kind of tips to really just dish off tons and tons of damage, especially on those legend abyss trials when you're one-on-one against certain bosses and really just trying to dish off as much damage as possible while also staying alive. And the very last tip I have, which honestly is a pretty common and well-known one, is to really max out the number of potions you can actually hold at one time. If you ever see this medicine chest can upgrade in the lower left corner of your world map, it means you have enough tails to basically upgrade your medicine bag, and you should do it as soon as possible. You should be grinding out all of these different areas as well as just pushing your area exploration as much as possible, because this will give you what you need in order to talk to this NPC and eventually upgrade to hold more medicine. So for example, I am now upgrading this right now and it's at level 12. So again, make this a priority because it really is important and can make or break certain boss battles. And that really covers it. I just thought this video would be fun just to kind of highlight some unique tips that a lot of people are not talking about. So I'm hoping that at least one of these you found helpful and it might help you get across and defeat some of those bosses that I think we've all been there, just are giving us a hard time. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed the content, consider giving it a like, sharing it with a friend, or even subscribing to stay tuned for some more Where Winds Meet content down the road. Thanks again, and I'll catch you guys later.